Hey folks, I'm Melhorn. Are you using a Santee rig when you're anchored? Well, if so, stay tuned because I've got some good advice for you. All right guys, any of you that watch my channel know that I use a Santee rig a lot. Basically what that is, for those that don't know, it is a fishing rig used for catfish. It was designed for trolling. And the way it works is on one end, you've got a sinker. This is a Bone-Town drifting sinker here. It's a flexible weight. It's inside some soft material. It's flexible so that when it drags along the bottom, it's less likely to get snagged, because that's always a problem. Your main line here, that's the yellow monofilament, and then the leader line, it goes up, and on that leader, there's a cork. And that cork floats your bait up off of the bottom, while this is on the bottom and it drags through the water. That is the way the rig works. Now, if you watch my channel enough, you'll know I use this same rig when I anchor up. I'll either leave this drifting weight on there, which you can do, that's fine, or you can attach a bank sinker to it. That will work just fine. Now, the reason I tell you all this is because I have gotten a lot of emails and messages lately from people that have said, hey, I've been using that Santee rig, and when I'm anchored up, bank fishing or in a boat, and the cork's floating up out of the top of the water, okay? This thing floats, that's its purpose. And I ask every one of them, either one, you're fishing very, very shallow to where this is on the bottom and this is sticking up out of the water, or you don't have it attached to a snap swivel. Now I fish mine with a snap swivel. This keeps the weight in one place and attached to the line where the leader meets the main line. If you weren't doing that, I'm gonna show you what'll happen. I'm gonna pull this Bone-Town drifting weight off of there. And let's just pretend that this snap swivel is just a swivel. Imagine the snap's not there. Let's say you got a sinker slide on there. A lot of people like using those, okay? So you got this weight attached. This is what happens to most people. They're using that sinker slide because they're used to having like a Carolina rig type deal where the fish can run with the bait without feeling the sinker. Well, what happens is this thing gets on the bottom. This float starts floating up, and there's no resistance depending on how much slack you got in your line. Well, guess what? This thing goes sliding up your line. And if you're in current, there's no telling how much line it will pull out. You got two choices. You either go with the snap swivel like I do, because that keeps the weight in one place, or you're gonna have to put enough weight on here so that you can reel down to it, reel the line down and keep it tight. It's kind of a depends what works for you kind of situation. I personally prefer to use the setup without the snap swivel or without the sinker slide. I think these slides are great with Carolina rigs where they're staying on the bottom and not floating up, but I prefer to have mine attached to a snap swivel. That way I know a couple of things. One, this isn't gonna fluctuate much from that distance. It's gonna stay on the bottom, and this stays pinned in one place. Also, it adds some resistance because I use circle hooks. You've heard me talk about these. Circle hooks work by having some resistance. So if there's a little bit of weight there to help add some resistance between the line tension, the pressure on the line in the water, and the rod tip, it'll help you get more hookup. So keep that in mind, guys. If you're using Santee rigs while you're anchored, get rid of those sinker slides and get rid of those slides. It will make your fishing a lot easier. Well, folks, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Here are a couple more videos that I think you're gonna like. I'd watch that one and then that one. No, do that one first and then that one. I don't know, just watch them both. They're both good.